very good afternoon and welcome to Younib TV News at 1. I'm Jessica Adiang. Now on to our top story. President William Ruto has called for what he terms as broad-based political arrangement to settle the nation's present political crisis, raising suggestions of a coalition government or national unity. Opposition leaders Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka joined President William Ruto in a rare display of political solidarity, where they demanded that a 6-day national consultation process begins on Monday next week.
We will move ahead with the multi-sectoral forum, and we have agreed that a membership of 150 representatives of various stakeholders, 50 of whom shall be young people of Kenya. The other 100 will be representatives of all the other sectors.
A dialogue is the way forward out of the crisis that we're having today in our country. We agree that we give people an opportunity to be heard.
We look forward to beginning the forum on Monday next week. The various stakeholders will be required to submit their representatives by Friday this week. Working together for us to address the current economic situation through a broad-based political arrangement and to rally the country forward.
If we are not careful, all of us will get thrown out by the Gen Zs, because they say we have come of age. You say that we are leaders of tomorrow, we are leaders now.
Now elsewhere, Denzel Omondi, a third-year Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology JKUAT student who went missing at the onset of the anti-finance bill protest in Nairobi, died by drowning. This is by a post-mortem report that has revealed so. According to pathologists who conducted the investigation, Omondi had severe bruises. Omondi's cousin, who is a lawyer, says that the family will conduct further investigations to unravel the mystery of the king's death.
There was nothing that showed that Denzel was in any way that could make people to look for his life. Because he was such a humble boy. I've known Denzel for over 10 years.
Mutua uko nyumbani akanipigia simu ya kwamba kuna jambo ambalo anaona kwa mtandao, na zile ishara zinaonyesha kwamba inaweza kuwa Denzel maana kuwa na kitambulisho chake cha shule na cha kitaifa. Ikabidi nikimbie nikuje hapa Jarokago nidhibitishe kwamba ni yeye ama si yeye. Kwa bahati mbaya nilikuta ilikuwa ni mwili wake.
There are still areas that are untied. We know that we have the pathology report, but we, as Irungu has just informed you, there were bruises on his knees and on the back of his head. And at the time he was put in the water, he was still breathing. So we still want to pursue all other avenues.
Now, 2 months after demolitions took place in various parts of Nairobi that sit on riparian reserve, it is now emerging that not everyone received the compensation promised by the government to enable those displaced find alternative housing. Here is the report.
Households ambayo wamehamishwa kwa sababu ya safety yao. Kila boma serikali tutawapatia shilingi 10,000 ya kutafuta.
Nyumba yangu ilienda na maji na kila kitu. Hata nikapata nyumba nyingine tena ikabomolewa.
Amepotelea kwa sana. Sasa usaidizi tu ni kutoka kwa Mungu.
Tunararaga kama watu wa mama 16 na wanaume 2, wanaume 4. Na usiku wa leo sasa vile tunajipanga, sababu mvua imenyesha sana na wamama wako na watoto wadogo. Sasa tukaamua sasa mvua ikiisha tutasukua hii matandiko, wengine watandike hapa kwa parada
Kama nataka kwenda choo usiku, sasa itabidi uvumilie mpaka asubuhi, ama uamuke uende ukaamushe mwenye choo. Lazima uende umpe pesa uingie kwa choo, na choo moja inakuanga ni kobole kuingia. So mkiwa familia anakuambia ni 500 kwa mwezi.
Tukupewa. Sikuiona na maso. Hata hakuna kitu hata moja ya msaada. Tumepata hata ile maturesi na peano hata maburageti.
Tulinjiandikisha na hatunjapata mpaka sai.
Government walisema ni 28,000 wamekuwa paid, na sikujua kama ni Kenya yote au ni Mathare in particular au umeongeza na hizo area zingine.
The anti-graft body expressed disappointment with Senate amendments to the bill. The EACC is now advocating the National Assembly to reject these amendments that they believe will undermine the struggle against corruption.
Senate of the Republic of Kenya deleted provisions that were aimed at ensuring accountability in the management of public funds. The amendments that were introduced by the Senate are inimical to public accountability, and they are going to negate the gains that the country has gained so far in the fight against corruption. And the EACC expects the National Assembly to reject the amendments that were proposed by the Senate to that. Most of the corruption cases that EACC is investigating and most of the people that are in court today are due to conflict of interest. Therefore, those amendments are not good for the fight against corruption.
We're taking a short break. We will be back with more updates. Stay tuned.
Je, wewe ni mfanyabiashara katika sekta ya elimu, afya bora, usafiri ama unamiliki kampuni yoyote ile? Ungependa kupata fursa ya kutangaza biashara yako ili kuwafikia wateja zaidi? Usikonde. Runinga ya Younib inakupa fursa ya kupeperusha matangazo kuhusu bidhaa na huduma unazotoa kwa bei nafuu. Kwa maelezo zaidi, wasiliana nasi kupitia nambari za simu 0750344700 ama kupitia barua pepe marketing@younibtv.com. Jinyakulie leo. Younib TV, ever the best.
Ever the best. Hallelujah.
Welcome back. Now, an ambitious strategy to double its milk output in the next 5 years has been launched by the nation. The Kenya Dairy Board 2023 to 2027 strategic plan includes this, with a goal of increasing the current milk production to 11 million litres.
One of the areas that the PS has talked about is moving from volume-based to quality-based payment systems, so that we can be able to produce high-value products like the cheeses, like butter, like ghee for export market.
We are doing part of the support to deliver the 1 billion litres that the government anticipates to deliver in the next 5 years.
Also looked at other markets With the coming up of the African Continental Free Trade Area, we are now discussing within Africa. We're not only looking at East Africa, we're also looking at Africa as a region.
We now want to move from there to double our production, which again will double our volume from the 42 billion or 41 billion shillings of value to north of 80 billion shillings of value.
Now, the Ministry of Health has called on medical interns to call off their demonstrations dubbed Occupy the Ministry of Health to give room for dialogue. This was even as the medics continued to camp outside the Ministry of Health headquarters at Afya House, Nairobi, on day 2 of protest to pressure the government to post medical interns in line with the 2017 collective bargaining agreement.
The engagement I was having upstairs was that it's impossible to have progress on these engagements if we are both demonstrating and sitting. So probably that's one reason that we're being given. On the other side, we are being told to proceed and do the demonstrations and the vigils, because after that then we can have engagement.
A pronouncement that did not sit well with the medical interns.
How is it impossible to find 1.2 billion? Yet you knew that this is the number of interns coming out of school.
What I think of that is that is a scapegoat. That is deceitful, because the meeting was supposed to be much earlier, and we have had meetings with them at odd hours, at different times, all across this past week. So if the meeting was really to be there, it would have been there, whether it's here in this venue or elsewhere. So what we're getting from this whole thing is that Nakumincha wants to escape.
We have nothing to lose. We have no jobs to report to. There is nowhere we are going. So it's as easy as us staying here. We can actually be reporting here daily as a painful reminder to them.
Now on to sports news. The Kenya men's rugby 7 squad Shujaa has arrived in Miramas, France for the high-performance training camp ahead of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. The team, which was flagged off in Nairobi by NOC Kenya President Paul Tergat and Sports Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba on Monday, is the first to fly to France and will be followed by the women's national volleyball team Malkia Strikers in 2 days.
Definitely, there are so many things going back at home, staying away from our families and friends, so we may be distracted. But if we together here in Miramas as a team, I think we can regroup, focus. We have the same goal. You know the whereabouts of your teammates. So I think it will help us in focusing a lot.
I think it's not been easy. These boys have just been putting effort after effort. I think this is the only time they will go out and reward themselves from all the effort they've done, the journey they've gone through.
Arrangements. We brought in Kenyan food. We have ugali. We've looked for chefs around who will help in terms of preparing Kenyan cuisine, so that the boys or the people who are here do not feel like they're not eating what is working for them.
And that wraps up our broadcast for today. Thank you for joining us. And in the words of Abraham Lincoln, you cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. I'm Jessica Adiang. Good afternoon.